boys and girls. This is the last book in our Nature's Miracle series. And this is a little different because we're not talking about a creature that breathes in the normal sense. It doesn't have arms and legs, but it is something that undergoes a great deal of change in the springtime, and that's seeds growing into plants. Today's story is called Once There Was a Seed, and it is written by Judith Anderson and illustrated by Mike Gordon. Once there was a seed. Grandpa loves growing things. He says he has a green thumb. He says, I have a green thumb too. And this little worm here is letting you know that the phrase having a green thumb means you're pretty good at growing things. Do you have a green thumb? Do you like to grow things, boys and girls? Today, we're going to plant some seeds. First, we push the seeds into the soil. And the worm says, not too deep. The seed says it too, don't put me down too far. Grandpa says that seeds need 3 things to grow. They need water, they need sunlight and warmth, and they need light from the sun. And she's having her drink, slurp, and they're giving the seed a little drink too of water. When a seed has water and warmth, a little root starts to grow out of it. She's holding it up and she says, is it growing yet? And Grandpa says, oh, yes, indeed. And you can see if you look closely, there's a little tiny root starting to come out there, a little shoot. And you remember when we did planting last year in the classroom, how quick some of them grow. The root grows downward. Like this? And he says, yep, that's right. It grows down before it grows up. Next, a little shoot starts to grow up out of the seed. The shoot grows upward and the roots grow downward. When it reaches the light, it starts to sprout leaves. And he says, look, it's nice and healthy. And she says, ooh. Grandpa says plants are just like us. They need food to grow. We get our food at meal times. Plants make their own food from water, light, and air. Oh, look, Grandpa's out there pulling up weeds. That's a hard job. Below the soil, the roots are getting bigger and spreading further. And you see how hard it was for him to dig up that big weed because the roots had grown way down. Above the soil, the plant is growing taller. She says, amazing. When the plant is big enough, some new buds appear. Wow, pink and spotty. These buds turn into flowers. Flowers come in many colors and shapes. Some smell sweet too. Grandpa says that his flowers look and smell so good that he just might win a prize at the flower show. But I think it's so that the insects will notice them. And you can see the bumblebee says, my favorite. And we read and learned all about that, right? The pollinators, we need those for flowers. Flowers contain pollen. And when an insect visits a flower, the pollen sticks to his legs and body. And as he's flying around, the butterfly, she says, I'm all dusty. When the insect flies to another flower, well, the pollen goes too. It's not dust, Grandpa says, it's pollen. One flower swaps pollen with another flower. Then the flower dies, but it leaves new seeds behind. And she says, apple seeds are called pips. Guess what? Chestnuts are seeds too. Bonk. Ouch. Before seeds grow into new plants, they need to find their own patch of soil. Often, they are carried by the wind. Wow. Sometimes a bird helps them. Hey, give that back right now. And sometimes a squirrel helps them. And sometimes Grandpa helps them. Out you come, he says. He's shaking out the seeds from an old flower, an old plant. The end. Thank you for listening, boys and girls. I hope you enjoyed this book. I'll see you next time.